Hello, my name is Cheryl Batts, and I'm CEO and founder of People Helping Others Excel by Example, P.H.O.E.B.E. We appreciate you taking the time to join us for this 2020 Thanksgiving Unity Hope Special.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. May your heart be light. From now on, your troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. May the Yuletides gay. From now on, your troubles will be miles away. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yours. Faithful friends that are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together, if the faith allow. Hang the shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Batts. I'm the granddaughter of Cheryl Batts, and I'm standing with you guys in regards to P.H.O.E.B.E, the Uzuri Project. I'm so excited and happy that you guys were able to join us today for Thanksgiving Hope and Unity. And tonight I'll be performing a poem. This poem dedicates how I feel about 2020 and the things I feel are required and were required for us to get through all these hard times. I believe the willingness to pivot, being open to constant change, and just standing in faith are some of the things that we had to do during these times in order to get past. Thankful for time to sit and think. There's growth in stillness. There's healing in stillness. There's peace in stillness. Reflect and soak in the blessings and lessons of the year and the season. I have hope for what's to come. As we stand together, pushing forward, paving forward, we have to stand united, unified, to face the world as the holidays come and go, a sense of love, comfortability. Cherish these times and find new ways to strengthen your relationships. Lean on one another. This season and this year has filled us with so much gratitude. Gratitude, grace, and efforts. And that's my piece. I hope this poem spreads joy and love and light to everyone who's watching during this holiday season. Much love to everyone, and I hope you enjoy the performances tonight.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily. This is Justin. We're from Lakeview Assembly, and we are so honored to be a part of this wonderful thing that's going on in the community. We love Phoebe. We love Miss Cheryl. We're so thankful. Our hearts are full of thanksgiving for what's happening, what God is doing among us. And in the middle of that thanksgiving and having that attitude of gratitude, the word says to be thankful in all circumstances. When you're thankful, you can't help but to give God the adoration he deserves. As we enter this Christmas season, I just want to make sure that my heart is prepared to receive the King in the ways possible that we can now. As we celebrate his birth and things get so distracting at times, it's vital that we come back to Jesus. And I feel like this song, it's called What Child Is This? And every time I sing this, it's just so focused in on this child who is a king. And he's the king of our hearts. And it's just so worshipful to me. And so as we sing this, I just want you to worship with us and focus only on Jesus. And you think about this child and how powerful something that is so small, how powerful that can be. And Jesus, he came into the world as a baby, but how powerful he is. And that's just what I feel when I give him adoration during this song. And so I just want you to sing these words with us. And as you're singing them, give him what you have to offer. And that's your praise and adoration to him. What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh, come peasant king to own him, the King of kings, salvation brings. Let loving hearts enthrone him. Raise, raise a song on high. The Virgin sings her lullaby. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him God, the babe, the Son of Mary. The babe, the Son of Mary.
On November 24th, one of our founding members, Reverend Cornelius Laron Hollenshed, would have celebrated his birthday with family and friends had he not gotten his heavenly wings. He was the catalyst for P.H.O.E.B.E starting and maintaining its primary program, the Uzuri Project Youth Institute.
One of the things my father, Cornelius LaRon Hollenshed, and I have in common is that we always love this time of year. This time of year brings about Thanksgiving and leads into Christmas, and it's always a spirit of unity and togetherness and Thanksgiving for all of mankind. When we think about all that we've been through in 2020, the pandemic and divisiveness around the nation, we really need something like the holidays to kind of be a reset button so that we could jump back into loving one another and thinking about the greater good, which is the human element, and just experiencing that love and displacing that love to others, individuals around our community. My father believed that through a helping hand, that you could really touch someone's life, not just physically, but spiritually. You could lead that person down a path that they might not otherwise been able to get to without that helping hand. I'm reminded of times when he would do fish fries for the church, or he would do the back to school bashes, or he'd tell me about his students that he had at ACTI, and the amount of joy that I could see on his face when discussing what it meant to him to uplift someone and guide them. It just really, it gave me a lot of a pointer in the way that I should live my life and give back to my community. I really believe my father chose Hot Springs just because of its uniqueness. Coming a young man from Dumas, Arkansas, going to college at Henderson State University, I felt that he saw something within Hot Springs that drew him inward like one of their own. And I believe what it was is that our community tends to come together in times of difficulty, in times of need, in times of strife, and really just help one another. You see such churches and organizations such as Visitors Chapel, AME Church, the Jackson House, and the Samaritan Ministries, feeding the homeless and feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, really reaching out and doing all they can and taking the resources that they have just to be, to make this place a better place for everyone. So in that same sense, we really need to think as we go into 2021, how can we be more appreciative of one another? How can we help one another? What can you do with your position? What can you do with your power? What can you do with your stance to really grab the generations below us, the generations above us, and bring this together? No matter what race, creed, no matter what sex, old, young, we all shared that one same human element. We all shared the sense, especially now, that life is so very precious. And so today, every day, we want each and every one of you to really look within yourselves and see what you can do to help your fellow man, what you can do to show love to your fellow man, what we all can do to embrace God's love for one another. So I'm reminded in closing of my family's favorite passage, Micah 6:8, to do good, to love mercy, and walk humbly with God.
There's one thing that we as Christians can do, and that's get out and share the name of Christ. Because by that, people are going to come together because of our love and concern.
Hello, Phoebe family. Just wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. So glad and just so honored to be a part of just such a wonderful place and such a wonderful organization. Thank you so much. Just want to give honor where honor's due. Thank you so much, Miss Cheryl, for all you do for your community and for the students that I've seen, been engaged with, and those that have went on to succeed and do great things. It's just such an awesome program, such an awesome thing to be a part of. And I just want to say thank you so much. One of the core values in my life and in my ministry came from Miss Cheryl. As Miss Cheryl said, Matt, don't see ministry, see people. And I'll never forget that. It became one of my core values, is that I would put aside ministry and seeing masses, and I would see an actual person. And that is something that has just so changed my perspective in the way I minister. So I just want to say God bless and just thank you so much for that. I just want to take a few moments and just invest these few moments with you and talk about unity. And something that's helped me to help be a unifier is something that the Lord has put on my heart, is to see the value of every single human. And so that goes right back to the story of creation. When God created the universe, He spoke everything into existence until He came to mankind. And mankind, He became intimate. He gets down into the dirt, down into the dust, and He begins to form and mold men and women in His own image. And not only did He mold them and shape them intimately instead of speaking, but the Bible says that He breathes the breath of life into them and they become a living soul. What does that mean? That means that every human being has God's fingerprints all over them. Not only does it mean that, but it also means that when God breathed His breath into them, that He imprinted or gave a part of Himself, a part of His nature, a part of His goodness imprinted in every single human being, which means that every single human being is valuable, is that the value of them is immeasurable. Well, how do we know the value of something? Well, how much was something paid for? How much is something worth? It was God's own Son purchased us, purchased all of humanity. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we are worth more than we could ever ask, think, or imagine. But that also means my neighbor is worth more than I can ask, think, or imagine. So when I begin to see the value in humanity, it's easy to see the bad stuff. But within all the bad, within all the layers of hurt and rejection and all the different things, that means that laying behind that is the breath of God, the exhale of God, the life of God on the inside of the nature of someone. And so what I've made it my life mission to do is to go treasure hunting. Is when I meet people, I'm looking for the treasure of God that's been placed on the inside of them. And what I want my life mission to be is to call out that treasure that is on the inside of every single human and call it out in such a way that they would begin to see it for themselves, and gratitude would fill their soul, and they would find their worth, their value, and then they would begin to change the way they see the world and see people, and then they would begin to step into the realm of seeing the value of other people the way they found it in themselves. Because the way we see ourselves is so tied to the way we love other people. That's why Jesus said, love others the way you love yourself. See, that's easy if I don't love myself, because then I have no ability to love others. But when I begin to find my own value, when I begin to find my own self-worth, suddenly I'm free to not deal with my insecurities and my jealousies and my this and my that. I can then look at other human beings and I'm secure in myself and who I am. And then I am free to love other people. And when I get free like that, suddenly I step into another realm of love that Jesus talks about, where Jesus says, a new commandment I give to you, not to love others the way you love yourself, but love others the way I have loved you. See, the love that Jesus gives is such a freeing love that it empowers us to begin to love other people. And when I begin to love other people that are different than me, that might not agree with me, that might not feel the same way I do, and I put all that aside and say, I'm just going to love you because that's what I'm called to do, suddenly I have eyes to see the treasure that's placed in other people. And I can begin to highlight it and bring it to the surface. And when that treasure comes to the surface and people begin to see it and that light bulb goes off, suddenly they become unified into the mission of finding the treasure in other people. And that's what we're called to do. I love, 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 love finding the treasure in other people. And I pray that you find that passion and that love to do that same thing. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Love always leaves the light on. I remember when I was wayward and doing my rebellious teen thing, no matter how late I came on, the light was always on. What did that mean? That meant my mom was always waiting for me. And so leave your love on. Leave your love on. Always be waiting, because you never know when that access that you've allowed to stay open is going to lead to someone coming back and you being able to find that treasure and them be able to find the treasure that's within themselves. And so to me, that's what being in unity is all about, is calling out the treasure in people so that they'll be unified into the mission of finding the treasure in others. And that's what I love about Phoebe. And that's where hope is when we begin to see our value and we begin to step into that value of what we're worth and begin to call others into that same place. That when we surrender the me for we. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Happy holiday. I just hope you have an awesome season. The best is still yet to come. Love you guys. Have a great day.
You know, sometimes in life we're like the Egyptians when, they let the people go and they came to the Red Sea and they had this wall behind them and the Egyptians were on the other side and they felt trapped. But we have a great God because He is an on-time God. And no matter what mountain you have in front of you that you think you can't climb or what ocean you think you can't get through, God can do miracles in our life. And that's what we're going to sing about.
Well, He's an on-time God. Oh, yes, He is. Oh, He's an on-time God. Oh, yes, He is. May not come when you want Him, but He'll be there right on time. He's an on-time God. Oh, yes, He is. Well, you can
Meshach, and Abednego in that fiery furnace. He was on time for Jairus' daughter. And he was on time for the woman with the issue of blood. He was on time for Stephen as he took his last breath. And he was on time for that thief on the cross when he trusted Jesus. And Jesus said, "This day thou shalt be with me in paradise." I tell you, he's on time for me. And he's on time for you. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. He is Jehovah Jireh, our provider. He is Jehovah Shalom, our peace. It is in him that we live and move and have our very being. And I tell you now, yes, I tell you, he's an on-time God. Yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, he's an on-time God. Oh, yes, he is. May not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. 'Cause he's an on-time God. Oh, yes, he is. He's on time. He's on time. He's on time. He's on time. But he's an on-time God. He's an on-time God. He's an on-time God. Yes, he is. He's on
You know, Phoebe's entire mission is about children and about showing them the hope of the future through the eyes of the past. And so in working with the seniors and talking with the seniors and our elderly members of the community about their heyday and about the history of our city and our community, our state, and the world, it really shows children who they can be, what all is possible, things that have been done before them by people who are in their community, who have been raised up kind of in similar ways as them. It shows children what is possible. The world is full of possibilities and they can harness those. And so Phoebe's mission in recording the lives of seniors brings that all together, you know, in the eyes of a child. In speaking about hope, you know, it's often said that children are the hope of the future. Children are the future. And so, you know, when we think about the future, of course we want to think about a hopeful future, a future full of hope and full of possibilities, full of expectation about the things that we desire and the way that we want the world to be. And so as adults and as mentors to children, it's really important that we, first of all, maintain a hopeful spirit and that we exude hope and we are a shining example for them that anything is possible, especially in times like now with the current pandemic situation, which is a worldwide has worldwide and far-reaching impacts. It's important for children to know that although things may look really bad right now, things may look a little shaky, things may look unfamiliar in ways that more ways than you've ever seen before, that there is hope. That as adults we can be that consistency because we have been through things before, maybe not on this scale and of this magnitude, but we've seen adversity before. We've seen chaos in the world before. We've seen all kinds of things in the world and things that sometimes we haven't. But because we've had that experience of life, we can be an example for them that things, will get better, things will change, that there is hope for the future. Speaking of the pandemic situation and just things kind of being chaotic for a child, I remember my godfather, the late Reverend Cornelius Hollenshed, who was an integral part in P.H.O.E.B.E's mission and P.H.O.E.B.E's founding from the very beginning 20 years ago. As I said, he was my godfather, and so I spent a lot of time with him. In addition to him being my godfather, he also is my father's first cousin. So he and my dad were like brothers, and I grew up more like his child, but Reverend Hollenshed was always very concerned about the children. He always was concerned about, no matter what was going on, how would this be perceived in the eyes of a child, making sure that we as children and the children that he worked with, the children that he had interaction with through P.H.O.E.B.E. and through his job and just out in the community, he always wanted to make sure that there was some way provided for there to be consistency for the kids, no matter what was going on, no matter how crazy or hectic the adults' lives got or the world seemed to the child. So I can remember being a child, and Reverend Hollenshed would draw these figure eights for me, and he would just scribble what looked like, you know, kind of crazily on a piece of paper. And the adults around me would be talking about who knows what, bills or the world or life, or just, you know, there could be something serious going on or something, you know, just kind of regular everyday. But I didn't know it because there was that consistency. So my godfather would draw these figure eights and scribble all over a paper, and then he would tell me to color in all of the little spaces that his scribbles had made. And I didn't know at the time, but what that was doing was it was giving me something as a child to focus on that was on my level, that would remove me from, you know, kind of whatever madness was going on, but still give me something constructive to do and to look forward to. I could see the colors, you know, coming to life on the paper as I was drawing, and the world just kind of went on. But, you know, as I grew up, I realized the importance of what he did for me. He showed me that, you know, regardless of what else was going on, there was always hope. There was always, you know, life would kind of continue. It may look different, but you'll get through it. And that's just such an invaluable lesson that I was given, and a gift that I was given, and, you know, that I try to share with other youth as well. There is always hope, no matter how dark things may look, no matter how different things may look, no matter what happens in the world. Keep holding on to expectation. Expectation of positivity and of brighter days and of our best outcomes. That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us achieving. That's what keeps us striving towards our full potential. And I feel that as adults, if we can exude that and we can be an example of that for children, then we can expect a positive future and we can expect a hopeful future. But it starts with us pouring into the kids. Thank you.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to a newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies, with angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Christ the highest heaven adored, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time, behold him come, offspring of the Virgin's womb. Veiled in flesh, the Godhead see, hail the incarnate deity, pleased as man with men appear. Jesus our Emmanuel. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies, with angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
newborn King.
As we close our program, thank you for your time. It is our prayer that you enjoy this program. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.